Perfect. Love
the
it.
conference call,
We
but
can,
also the actual video.
great. And we can access that later?
Yeah, I'm going to email you actually a link to a YouTube video of the actual meeting that we're having right now.
Perfect. I love it. And what was your
Oh,
name
good.
again?
My
Sorry,
name
I
is
didn't
Matt.
catch.
No problem at all.
Matt.
Matt Wiggins.
Thanks,
M-A-T-T.
Matt.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, so first things first, I want you guys to understand that when I give a demonstration, it's more important that your questions get answered than that I go through a traditional demo. So of course, I'll be going through that demo, but as I do, please feel free to interrupt me with any questions that you have, because as I said, it's most important that your questions get answered than that I go through a traditional demo. So that's first thing. So the next thing I want you to be aware of is that the software has everything that you would expect from traditional spa software, for instance, appointment book, point of sale, inventory control, client database, marketing, commissions, and reporting. But it also has some items that make it fairly unique, either completely unique, as in nobody else does it, or it makes it unique because they do it, but they have third-party companies that you have to pay extra for to do these things, or they're not part of their software in the base package, and you have to add them for additional cost. And one of those things is what we call here Darcy. And Darcy is our daily automated reminder and client information system. Now we're going to go over all of the features, but I want to start with some of these unique items like Darcy. Darcy has 5 main jobs. Her first main job is appointment confirmations and reminders. So you get to make up any message you want. Don't worry about what you see here. You can write it up any way you want, and you can use what are called variables so that everybody gets a message that's completely unique to them. So this might say something like reminder for Belinda. Hi, Belinda. Remember that you have an appointment for a, well, I don't know, let's say European facial with Sally on June 2nd at 11 a.m. Please arrive 15 minutes
Hey,
early
Matt,
to unwind. Go ahead, please.
can I interject, please?
Yes,
So, so when you said we want to, you definitely want to cover the items, can I just highlight the items that we already know we want to see?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so you hit one of them, which is the patient communications. I bucket that as communications from start to finish, right? Before reminders, sharing photos and notes after the meeting or after the consult, to Matt, your birthday message is here, you're special, to 6 months later, we haven't seen you. So all of those from start to finish, ideally, like you kind of talk through that. The EMR portion for Meesun, who will be doing the injections. I want to also know about photo sharing and what communications and platform we share information with the client in terms of not just email communications or appointment reminders, and then analytics. So kind of those, if you cover those big buckets, I'm sure we'll have questions within that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with patient communication. Obviously, this would be part of it. This would be your client reminders and confirmations. And I say reminders and confirmations because it's not just a reminder that goes out. Yeah, it's got your logo on it. Yes, it has your social networking icons on it, but it also has a big blue button on it that says click here to confirm your appointment. If your customers actually click that button, then it will mark their appointment confirmed right on the appointment book. So it's not like it just sends you an email that says this person confirmed and now you need to go into the appointment book and mark it. No, it does it for you. So I want you to be aware of that. Another thing that it's able to do are campaigns. Automated marketing campaigns. For instance, things like you want to contact your customer prior to their date of birth or prior to their anniversary or any of the major holidays or anything like that. And of course, you can also create your own custom promotions. But for instance, something like the birthday message, you can run all of the automated marketing features can be run once, twice, 3, or 4 times. I've chosen 4 for this one. And I've got how many days then prior to their birthday the messages go out. I get to choose that. Then I can choose a message like, for instance, my first message, which is going out 30 days prior. I can write whatever I want, choose my font size, bold, underlined, italics, color, insert URLs into the message as well.
Yep.
And I can
totally get it. Totally get it.
Great. I get to choose artwork that we've already created or put in our customized artwork, so you can upload your own custom images. Want you to be aware of that. Also, we have something in here called a lost client. A lost client allows you to choose from 30 to 360 days. I've chosen, again, 4 messages, 90, 120, 150, and 240. So in other words, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and 8 months. And again, what this says is that they haven't been in this long. So you can make a message that says something like, come on back. And again, you get to choose whatever the message you want, as well as your artwork as well for something like that. Along with things like that, we also have follow-ups. So everybody who visited you yesterday, for instance, could get a message saying thank you for your visit or something like that. So there's some of that information that I want you to be aware of. I'll just kind of gloss over that and jump over to the next thing.
Quick question,
question,
Matt. So I'm going to interject. So when you say we haven't seen you in a while, is the system smart in that it knows the person hasn't come in, or do you have to manually set that up to say, oh, Belinda actually hasn't come in, so I'm going to send these set of 500 people who haven't come in the last 3 months a reminder note?
Great.
Like, is it mass or is it manual?
Okay, it is automated, so it is
automated.
Not manual.
Great.
Say, for instance,
love it.
I want Darcy to just send this message out to anyone who hasn't been in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, whatever it may be.
Great.
And then every day she runs and checks, and everybody who hits that marker will get sent that message.
Love it.
Specific message that you had
Perfect.
created.
Okay.
Another one that we have here. Go ahead.
Can you jump to now just the basic analytics that are associated to this? Just a quick, you don't have to go deep.
For instance, no problem. Every time you run a transaction, the system is going to date and timestamp that transaction. So anytime somebody comes in because they had an appointment with you, so they're on your appointment book, or even you pulled them up fresh from the point of sale, they didn't necessarily have an appointment book, whether they're already in your database or they're brand new, or you're just going to do it as a one-time. A one-time is not going to store any of that information, because a one-time is basically saying, like, maybe a minor came in, or maybe a one-time customer, as in they're a visitor from out of state and they're never coming back. So that would be the way to process the transaction as one time. But a new means that you're processing a transaction for somebody who has never been to you before, and they're not currently in your database. And clients, of course, allows you to process for somebody that is in your database. If you choose clients or new, any transaction they get from you, whether they bought a product or they actually received a service from you, they're going to be date and time stamped, and that is where Darcy is getting her information from. So they had an appointment with you, they processed their sale, or they just walked in without an appointment. Darcy knows it. So Darcy is able to know when they came in, when she needs to send the message out, et cetera. Now, again, not being dumb, even if they have a future appointment booked for you, even though they haven't come in, and let's say you set it for 90 days, they have been in 3 months, but they have a future appointment in 2 weeks or a month from now, then she's not going to send that message saying we miss you, because she knows they're coming back.
Got it. Okay.
If they haven't been in this amount of time and they don't have a future appointment, that's when they get the message. So that's one of the ways that she does that. Another is in something called the come again that Darcy controls. The come again, I've created one for my Physical Therapy 60, but of course you can do it on any and all services. You can do just a handful of them or every one of them. And this allows you to say how long a gap between when they received that service was done and when they should have gotten it again. And then you could say something like, let's say a physical therapy massage should be repeated weekly. So what I've said is, okay, well then if they haven't been in 3 weeks since their last physical therapy massage, then I want them to get this message. And so again, if they have a future appointment, she won't send it out, even if they've missed 3 weeks. But if they don't, and they've missed that amount of time, then it will send it out. Not only, by the way, can it be used as in a, hey, you missed your cycle, here's your message, but it can also be used, let's say that whatever the service I chose was something that should be repeated in 12 weeks or 15 weeks or something like that. But let's go with 12. And then you could set this up for, instead of 12 weeks or 14 or 15 saying that they missed their cycle, set it up for 10 weeks with a message that just says, hey, you're due for this again within the next 2 weeks. Why don't you give us a call or click on this link to book your appointment online, or give us a call to book your appointment, et cetera. Again, she won't send the message out if they already have the appointment booked, so you don't have to worry about looking foolish in that regard. But it doesn't have to just be, hey, they missed their appointment. It could also be they have an appointment that should be coming up, but it's not already on the books, so this message is going to go out to them, whatever you want that message
Right.
to be.
Matt,
So go ahead.
could you, is this, so if as a recipient I receive an email, do I have to log into a platform to read it, or is it just I can open it from my Gmail account?
Oh, absolutely. That you're going to
Okay.
open it from your Gmail account because you're going to be storing your client email addresses in their client fields. So here I've got my client file, and here
Is
is
this all,
their email.
and this is all cloud-based?
Well, it can be. We have an installed version and we have a cloud version. It's entirely up to you which one you want to run.
Can you send us
Go
a
ahead.
test email? Just one that, I don't know if you have a test email.
Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
perfect. Thank
Here, let
you.
me, I don't
You
know
can do it
exactly.
after.
Okay.
You can do it after, yeah. But,
Okay.
okay, you know what? I totally get all the email stuff.
Okay, good.
I'm curious
by
about the
way, you can do
analytics.
that with texting as well. Okay. Now, when you say analytics, I mean, are you talking about reporting or are you talking about like social media analytics? Because we have social analytics built into the system. For instance, if I go here to my goals, no, excuse me, my graphs, and I go to social analytics, one of the things that it's able to do, now I don't have this one set up, but I do have one set up under 11111, which is mine. Social analytics allows you to see how your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, etc., is working for you. What posts that you've made have the most views, what your demographics are of the people that are paying attention to your social media. So that's built into the software, and that is at no additional charge. So I just want you to be aware of that. Everything I'm showing you, by the way, is at no additional charge. That's one of the things about our software is that everything is included. So we're not nickel and diming you every time you say, oh, I want that, let's add it.
So you have both email, I'll say reporting as your taxonomy, and then social analytics are both built into the system.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so I can see how many people opened their email, how many people clicked on the link.
That's right.
That's some basics. Okay, perfect.
And by the way, when Darcy sends out something like an automated marketing message, you know, like for Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or something like that, or if she were to send out a list of appointment confirmations, whatever it may be, you can run a Darcy report, which allows you to, different Darcy reports that are in the system, which allow you to actually see who opened an email or who read a text. Also, by the way, when you set up Darcy, I just want you to be aware, when a client responds to a Darcy email, so for instance, let's just pretend that the name of the business is Meesun's Med Spa. So it would come from an address like Meesun Med Spa at darcy.mobi. Now, that's not your email address. That's your software's email address. So when your customer gets it, it comes from Meesun Med Spa at darcy.mobi with your logo, et cetera, your information. If they hit reply, it gets forwarded to whatever email address you put in this field where it says business email address. So you can have it forwarded to Belinda or to Meesun or to an info address or to your manager's address or whatever it may be. So anytime anybody replies to a Darcy email, it gets forwarded to the address that you want it to be forwarded to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that. Now, there are other things that Darcy believes are for the owner's eyes only. And so, for instance, and by the way, when I say for the owner's eyes only, you can have up to 2 different email addresses here. So you and Meesun could both receive those messages that Darcy believes are owner's eyes only messages. And those would be things like, for instance, if you had an employee that voided a cash payment or printed out a list of your customers or adjusted a price at the point of sale or adjusted points or anything like that, you can be instantly notified that those types of things were done. They modified a transaction, etc. Also, every night, Darcy can email the both of you your closing report for that day. Also, she can email your entire staff, you included, of course, your schedule for the following day. But at any time, without waiting for her to send you an email saying, hey, this is what your schedule looks like tomorrow, at any time, you can go online with your smartphone or with any computer that has internet access and go to your website, click on a button, for instance, that might say something like check your appointments here or something like that, whatever you want to call it, and you can, using your username and password, check your schedule for any date range. So today is Wednesday, and you want to see what your schedule looks like for next Tuesday and Wednesday. You could certainly do that. You want to see what your schedule looks like for this weekend. You could certainly do that as well, all from your smartphone or any computer that has internet access. And that's part of the online system here, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But getting back to the patient communication and some of the some of the analytics. The reporting system itself and the database is an SQL database. It's the most powerful data engine that Microsoft offers for small business. All of the reports in here have certain tools associated with them. So for instance, there are over 300 reports that are already built into the system. So, and any of those reports that you don't want, just don't use.
Go SQL Server, Meesun.
And also, we have something called a data miner. A data miner allows either our staff here or you to actually create your own custom reports. If the software is collecting the information, then you're going to be able to drill into your SQL data and create a report. And you can name it and save it. So that report is there for you in the future as well, so that you don't have to recreate that report every time you want to see it. But let me show you some of the tools that all of the reports have. So I'm going to go to Sales, Service Sales, and I'm going to say for a selected operator. And instead of choosing an individual employee, I'm going to say for everybody. And I get to put in any date range I want. I'm going to put in an old date range because this is sample data, and I want to make sure that there's a lot of info here. So I'm putting in from September 1st of 2013 to October 1st of 2013 and accept. Now, what I want you to notice first is just how quickly that report came up. Again, that's because it's a SQL data engine, which is a very powerful data engine. And you can see there were 843 total sales made. That is 100% of all of the sales made. I've got $58,042 worth of sales, and then I've got any discounts that were applied, and then, of course, my net sales. And so, again, all of this came up very, very rapidly, but the report itself is not the important thing. That's not what I want to show you. I want to show you some of the tools. Some basic tools like Zoom just zooms in and out. If you wear reading glasses, that's a nice little tool, but it's not a big deal. This is a nice one. Email. Type in an email address and hit OK, and that report just got sent to whomever I want to see it. My partner, my HR department, my accountant, whatever, even an employee. I can type in an email address and hit send, off it goes. Next is export to Excel. With one click of a button, this report becomes an Excel spreadsheet. So you don't have to export it into a CSV file or even an Excel file or anything like that, and then set up your delimiters. All you have to do is click one button, it becomes an Excel spreadsheet. You can save that, you can email it, you can save it and open another report so that you can copy columns, rows from one report to another, or totals from one report to another, so you can manipulate your data in ways you've never been able to do before. Obviously, you can print out any report, and you can even change the report on the fly. For instance, I could say, okay, I want to see this information, but now instead of for everybody, I just want to see it for Christian, and hit recalculate, and now that report is for Christian. So I don't have to close the report and go in and rebuild it.
Yeah.
And I can even change
Essentially,
the
Matt,
date range I'm looking at. Go ahead.
It sounds like SQL just taps into all the data that's available or being captured in the system, so it's not siloed, right? So we can
That's
basically,
exactly right.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Got it.
I think I get it. So,
Good,
Meesun, should we move over to the EMR part, the patient?
Yeah, so Matt, if you can be kind to just walk into, let's just say we have a brand new client. So what does the brand new client look like from registration to, if you could quickly just go from brand new client registration, the payment, what does the payment process look like it, and then if we can have a place where we can charge, and then, and then the photos, the consent form, and before and after photos, and that kind of thing.
Okay, understood. All right, so first things first. Let's say that somebody called me. They've never visited my business before, and my business happens to be named Bella Renaissance here. They've never been here before. They call and they'd like to book an appointment. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to either my day view or my week view screen. So my day view screen looks something like this, which is going to have all of my employees listed on it. If it's just a handful of you, then it may look something like this, or it may look something like this. It really is going to depend on the number of people that you've got on the screen. I mean, that you're employing, excuse me, that you can book appointments for. And now I go over to this client button, and if I were to left click, I can pull up a client that's in my database, or I can right click and add somebody brand new. So I'm going to add Meesun Cho, and I can take some additional information, mobile, phone, work, and email address, say how they referred, or again, All I need is first and last name, nothing else. If I was in a real hurry and I just needed to quickly book their appointment, I could just take the basic information and hit add now, or take some of this additional information, or I can hit more. So if I've got an opportunity to really chat with this person, I can take a lot more information. So things like their address, city, state, and zip, their occupation, birthday and anniversary, their email address, their mailing salutation, maybe it's Dr. or Mrs., however they prefer, their credit card number, if you're storing credit cards in the system, and if so, it must meet the PCI DSS requirements for payment card industry data security standards. And if you're doing that, you must unfortunately process directly through our preferred provider. You do not need to use our preferred provider to process credit cards through the system. To process credit cards and use our system. But to store credit cards or to process directly through the system, then you do. But additional information now, their cell, home, and work, how they heard about you, who they prefer to see when they come there, all of that type of information. These are the basics. Then, whether or not they want their receipt emailed or printed, or whether or not they want to receive their appointment confirmations via email or via text, or will they allow you to send them email promos or text promos, etc. But then we have something like this, for instance. Because Meesun is brand new to me, I might want to take the opportunity to take some real information. So I can go to my intake. Now, I've got some things here like signed consent. All of these are yes and no questions. Signed consent, yes, no. Yes, no, really simple. Do you burn? Yes, no. But what I want you to understand is that everything you see here, while it was created for us by a dermatologist, we know that everybody has different questions to ask. So everything that you see here can be changed to the questions you ask. Notice right here, this one says something else. What it actually says is, do you wear a pacemaker? But I can, simply by right-clicking on this, I can change this to whatever I want, to something else, for instance, and accept. Once I have made this what I want it to be, then I can save it, and it will be that in everybody's file. So the questions I want to ask will be in that file. And now this is just general information. I also have conditions. Eczema,
Matt, is
psoriasis,
this,
diarrhea. Go ahead.
so I get it that this is the person, me or Meesun, interacting with a patient.
Mm-hmm.
Can we turn this into a form and just have someone fill it out when they come into the lobby? Like, so they've checked in, and so now they have to kind of fill out our
Not really. No, you would have it.
Okay.
You would have it on a piece of paper that you would then enter later. If you're saying what you want is like a kiosk where someone can go in here and enter this information, can you do that? Yes. Have we had clients who have tried it? Yes. Do we have clients who just say, you know what, it saves us so much time to just have them fill out a paper form that we can enter and then destroy that piece of paper so that it's all electronic? That saves time, and everyone that has tried the kiosk has decided to go with the paper. And the reason I say that is because the clients themselves just have too much trouble navigating, and they just get confused.
Okay,
so I've
so
got
it's
my
paper,
here.
Paper, and then transfer.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what, I see there's a place called print file. What exactly is that?
Okay, the print file is once all of this information is filled in with products, with annotations, so you're marking up the body. Let's just, say I've got a 3-inch scar here, something like that. So
do you have a close-up of a face?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So
okay,
I'll add that. But all of these are here. So, for instance, right face, front face, left face, back body, it's all there for you. So, yeah, you won't have any trouble finding the things that you want there. So after you've filled anything in, any treatments that you've recommended, and again, all of this is customizable. So when you see these things here, you might say, we wouldn't use that, but we might use something else. So you can change it to what you would use. And I've got 2 pages of conditions there. So once all of that is filled in, then if I were to hit print file, that information will print out. But it's not going to print out in a form that is meant for the customer's eyes. It's simple text, black and white on your piece of paper. So the fact of the matter is if you have all of their information in and you hit print file, that's going to be something for you to put in their file and then file away. It's not something for the customer to look at. It's not pretty, it's just text. It's just a list of all of the questions with the answers, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so again, conditions, products that they use, contours, Annotations, that's the body that you're marking up, etc. Treatments that you've recommended, treatments, yeah, exactly, that you recommend, any specific recommendations that you have for products. Then we have the print file, and we have miscellaneous. Again, miscellaneous is simply there so that you can change it to what you want it to be. And go ahead and get out of that. So this is where, for instance, if you have a consent form and they sign it, can you upload a copy of their printed consent form into their client file? Yeah, you can have an unlimited number of pictures in every client file. But you could also simply have them sign the consent form, file it away, and just check a box that says something like signed consent form. Again, this one actually would have said, do you tan? But I changed it to signed consent form because that's what people are looking for. So we also have in the client file, we have notes. We have general notes, which will print out. So you wouldn't want any type of HIPAA.
I have another question, Matt.
Can
you email those consent forms to someone prior?
Well, that wouldn't be coming from our software, but I mean,
Okay.
There's nothing stopping you from having a consent form, say in Word, and emailing it out from your business email address. Absolutely, you could do that, but that's not
Perfect.
That's not coming from ProSolution software.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Absolutely. So now I've got general notes. Now, general notes will print. So because of that, you would never put anything in here that is HIPAA non-compliant. However, we do have what are called operator notes. These cannot print, and they can only be viewed by the operator, and you can password protect that as well. So that is part of the HIPAA compliance. Those notes can be in here, and they are for the eyes of the people working the system only, and they can be password protected. Also, we have things like pop-up notes. Now, pop-up notes are important notes that you want to be told about prior to doing anything with this customer, like maybe they're allergic to glycerin or something like that. And so if you're going to book an appointment for them, the very first thing you're going to see is that pop-up note. You're going to process a sale for them. The first thing you're going to see is that pop-up note. It could be something as simple as they left their glasses upstairs, or they're allergic to glycerin, whatever it may be. A pop-up note is the very first thing you see when you pull up a customer for any purpose, whether it's to book an appointment for them, process a sale for them, send them a confirmation, whatever it may be. Go ahead, I'm sorry. You have a question.
I'm sorry. So I just need to go over the consent form. So Belinda, maybe you guys already mentioned it, somehow spaced it out, but in terms of the consent, do you guys have a formatted consent, or is it something we have to start from our own and then we have to upload it?
Yeah, we do not have a formatted consent form. That's something that you would create, and your customer would fill it out, and then you can put that information into their client file, or you could simply just say they signed the consent form, and file it away. However you want to manage that, but no, there is no pre-made consent form in the software.
Got it.
And so, Matt, do those come from Allergan? We can get those templates from Allergan?
I don't know if you can get them specifically from Allergan, but I do know that there are consent form templates. I've Googled it before in the past, and there are dozens and dozens of companies that have those types of things available to you.
Belinda, I have some too, Belinda. I have some.
Got it. Okay.
All right. And again, you can have an unlimited number of pictures here. All you need to do is, whether you have scanned the consent form or maybe scanned their ID or maybe just taken a photograph of them with your digital camera or with your phone or whatever it may be. However you get the picture into the computer, you copy that picture into a particular folder. You would be taught how to do that, of course. This is just a demonstration. We're not teaching you anything here. Once you've done that, you can hit this little camera here, and all of the pictures in that folder will be here. So you are then able to choose it, and you're able to give it a name, and you can then, if you want, make it their primary picture as well. So then that's going to be the very first thing that you see when you've made it a primary picture. Again, you don't have to do that, and you can have an unlimited number of pictures, and only one of them is going to be your primary. The primary, as I said, is the one that you are going to see when you open up their client file. But you will be able to use this drop-down to see any other pictures that you stored for them. So you could have something like Session 1 for Meesun, Session 2 Meesun, Session 3, so that you can see a progression of things like microdermabrasion or VersaPulse or whatever it is you're doing there. People say, I'll tell you something honestly, I'm a fairly big guy. I'm 210 pounds. If I lose 5 pounds over the course of a month, my wife sees me every day. She doesn't notice. But I see my mother once a month. She notices I've lost 5 pounds. And it's the same thing here. When somebody is getting a course of treatments, oftentimes because they're the ones getting the course and they're seeing themselves in the mirror every day, they don't see the progression, the value necessarily of what it is they're getting. But if you could show them, this is what your cellulite looks like on session 1, and this is what your cellulite looks like on session 6, now they can see the progression because you've gotten that jump there. There are different reasons why people have multiple pictures in there, and you can have an unlimited number of pictures stored in every client file. Okay? Does that make sense?
Okay. So, yeah. So let's just say now we put all this information about this patient, and let's just say if we can go, like you say, we look at the patient's chart. Like this is appointment, so I want to go look at patient's chart.
Okay. Well, when
let's
you
just bring out, like I'm just making it up. We have a let's just say we want to bring out patient who existed in our system, like Joanna. This is her second time coming in or third time coming in.
Okay.
So let's just say I want to see her chart.
Okay, so here I've booked an appointment for Meesun Show with a light facial 90. I booked it in the herbal room, and I booked it with the light pulse machine. So not only did I book the appointment, but I also booked it in a room and with a piece of equipment, so I can track that. Now, remember, Meesun is brand new to me, and all she's done is she's booked an appointment. She has not yet visited me. If I went in and took a look at her client information, if I were to go, for instance, to her history, I would see a list of every service she's ever received from me and every product she's ever purchased from me.
Okay, got it.
If she has never done anything with me, then nothing will be there. So let's
So, like,
quickly,
is there a place, like, for instance, like, I know there was a reminder kind of thing, but do you have a places, like, where, like, for instance, I know in, like, because I'm a nurse, I'm asking this question, like, you know, certain EHRs, I know this is not sort of like EHR, but like, for instance, when you pop up a patient client's information, one of the first thing it would say, like, on top of it, like, allergy. And then right there on top of allergy, you know, put SERPA there. So then everybody could see that this patient is allergic to SERPA. You know what I mean? Right. You don't necessarily have to go and remind anyone, but it's right there. So you know right away.
Right. First things first, you could set up a pop-up so that the very first thing that somebody sees when they pull up Meesun is that she's allergic to something or whatever it may be. But that would be just for the person booking the appointment or processing the sale. But yeah, I could also add what's called an appointment note. So I could go in here and I could say allergic to blah, 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 and, I misspelled blah, and add that. Now, if I add a note to an appointment, then not only is there a symbol showing me that there's a note on this, but if I watch what happens when I bring my mouse over to Penny Rubinkoff here, nothing. It just gives me the information, 12:30 p.m., Penny Rubinkoff, back facial. But if I were to go to Meesun's, the first thing I see is allergic to blah, blah, blah. The note on it will appear. Also, if I were to print out Kathy's schedule for the day, not only will it say that Meesun Show is getting a light facial 90 at 11 a.m. on May 31st, 2017, but it will also include any notes that are appointment notes. Now, appointment notes are different than client notes. Those
let me see the client.
Those notes will not automatically pop up like an appointment note does, like I just showed you. Here, I could put in general notes. Here is a general note. And I can also do what are called operator notes. So I can say for Kathy's eyes only, and I get a date and time stamp. This message is for Kathy's eyes only, and I can save these. Now, general notes will, in fact, print. So if I were to hit print, and I can see them at any time. However, notice the operator notes are blanked. And if I were to go to Kathy, then I get the message for Kathy, and of course the ability to put in another note with another timestamp. Now in this case, with these types of notes, I could put in SOAP notes. It's very easy. We all know what SOAP notes are. And so for instance, if I just did an S dash, I could put in whatever I want, and then I could put in an O dash and put in whatever I want, etc. And I could save this information. I could do it in general, or I could do it in the operator notes for different people. whatever it is I want. And there's a great deal of information that you can type in here. So don't worry. If you need paragraphs of information, put paragraphs of information in for each one.
So my biggest concern is, my biggest thing is that I just wish that there's a places where, because allergy is a huge thing, you know what I mean? Because it's not something we can be, people could die from allergy. Absolutely. So what I'm really looking for is really like when I open Meesun's chart right away, you know, the top somewhere it says allergy, right? And then I see right next to allergies, she's allergic, you know, saying golden kiwi, you know, so okay, you know so right away when I open it up, we don't necessarily have to go from note to note to note to look at what allergy she has.
No, you don't want to have to do that. You're absolutely right. So let's say I'm going to book an appointment and Meesun just called. She'd like to book the appointment. Okay. So I'm going to pull her up, and the very first thing I see when I pull her up is that, because I set up a pop-up. So whether I pull her up in the point of sale or I pull her up to book an appointment, the very first thing I see is the pop-up message. So in this case, this client is allergic to whatever it may be. And I can keep that if I go into her client file anywhere. So I go here and I want to look her up. And so I pull her up. The very first thing I see is that message. And then I get into her information. So whenever you pull that person up, the very first thing you're going to see is whatever you have put in under pop-up.
So, but here's the problem that I see a little bit of problem with that. It's oftentimes the front desk is not necessarily people who take care of the patient. Does that make sense to you? Because the person who has appointment, you're asking her saying she's allergic to kiwi. But I think she's a front desk person. She's not the person who's going to be actually treating the patient. The person who really needs to know that she's allergic to kiwi is the person who's treating the patient, the nurse, the doc. So my thing is,
go ahead.
So my thing is, when I go and open her chart up, like I say, the way that you have the thing, where exactly could I go and look it up and say, besides the pop-up, is there somewhere that you can know what her allergy is? I guess that's the thing I need to know.
Okay, sure. Do you see where the pictures are?
Uh-huh.
We also have, instead of pictures, we have notes. And so I could say something like this. So then, and by the way, you can switch back and forth between pictures and notes. So you could just leave it on notes, and if you need to get a picture, pull it up. So then if I go into that client's file, the very first thing I see is my pop-up note, but maybe I'm not paying attention to that. And so now, well, I've got mine defaulting to the pictures. But if I had it defaulting to my notes, then when I pull up the client file, I'll see any notes that I've put in here, including the fact that...
So it's more like you kind of have to create a one for yourself and then save it on the side kind of thing.
Create one for myself and save it on the side.
Well, yeah, because you basically, so they're literally...
You have to format it for yourself, Meesun, to where rather than the picture as the default, your notes are the default pop-up when you open up someone's quote-unquote file. So it's like a workaround, but it's just, it'll be your process, or all of our providers' process, that when you have someone who's allergic or need to be like a highlight, we always put it in the notes and we default to the person's notes versus their picture.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good workaround. I mean, it's...
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, again, so lots of different places to put notes, whether you are doing standard general notes and operator notes, then of course you have the pop-up note, and then you also have the note on the appointment itself. And with the note on the appointment itself, like the one that I did earlier, let's go with the light facial again, and we'll do a light facial 90, we'll book it with Kathy again, choose my equipment. So it's booked. Again, Kathy's booked for the light facial. It's all there. I can put a note on this file, anything that I want. She left her glasses, or she's allergic, whatever it may be. Remember, every night, Darcy will email the staff their schedule for the following day. That schedule will include the fact that she left her glasses, or that she's allergic to something, or something like that. Those notes will appear. Or I could, if I'm not sending it out every night, maybe I don't want to because I'm worried about HIPAA compliance because some of the notes may be very personal and I don't want them traveling via email. So then I can go to every morning, I could either go to reports and just print out everybody's schedule and hand them out, or I could right-click on a particular person and print out their schedule as well and hand it out that way. And that will include those notes. So they see it on that piece of paper. If you're going to do that, you certainly don't have to. As I said, the system can email them. They can have it electronically what their schedule looks like, or you can even get rid of that and just have the staff responsible for checking their schedule online, or just showing up at the right time and their appointment book will do its thing. When you check somebody in, so somebody's checked in, one of the things that you can do is send an instant message saying that this person is checked in. And that message can be anything you want it to be. So for instance, I could do a text message or an email message, and now I can do a custom message and write it up. Say something like, hey, Kathy, Meesun is here for her 11 o'clock, and please remember that she's allergic to latex. Something like that. So that's a message that goes directly to Kathy the moment that that person checks in. By the way, you don't have to send any message at all. You can check somebody in without a message. Entirely up to you. And of course, you can check somebody out. So let's go through that process now. We'll go to check out right from the appointment book. Again, anytime you do anything with this customer, remember, that pop-up appears. So Meesun saw Kathy, got a light facial 90, she owes me $100. Now, am I ready to go to payment? Maybe, but maybe there's a lot more to this ticket. This was the only appointment she had. By the way, if she had multiple appointments for that day, they would all appear on the ticket. But I can also say maybe she was upsold while she was there. Yeah, this was the only appointment, but she actually saw Debbie as well and got a, whatever it may be, let's say a full facial. So she got a light facial and a full facial. Now she owes me $185. And maybe she's buying product from me, whatever that product may be. So maybe Kayla sold her, or Leslie, I checked, sold her the Nail Tech Intensive Therapy for $36. It puts in my local tax. Maybe she also offered a gratuity. I can put in a dollar amount, or I can do a percentage and have it do the math for me. So I could have put in a dollar amount for Kathy and a dollar amount for Debbie, or I could just put in a percentage. It does the math. Debbie's getting $12.75, Kathy's getting $15. I've got the product that they've bought. I could sell a series. I could sell a gift certificate or a membership, etc. Or now I can go to payment, and I can accept payment in multiple forms: cash, check.
So Matt,
check number. Go ahead.
if we end up using a third-party payment processing system, then we don't use this at all, right? Or we would still?
Oh, no, you absolutely do. You absolutely do.
Okay.
So for instance, let's say that somebody wants to process, wants to pay with a credit card. Okay. And let's first say you are using our system. Then it's going to look like this. You're going to hit credit. You're going to stick the card into the chip reader or swipe it, and you're going to get an authorization right in the software, and it's either going to email them their receipt or it's going to print it out for signature. However, if you are using a third-party credit card company, then it's simply going to look like this instead.
Okay, so that way you can still track the data, right? Like Belinda, over time, how much sales and what did I buy from her? Okay, got it.
That's right. Yep. And so now you're simply choosing what type of card you accepted, although you did the processing, the authorization of the card in a separate terminal outside of the software. The software itself is still keeping record of it. So like you said, all of your reporting is accurate, your drawer is accurate, your commissions are accurate, etc. So now you can also do multiple forms of payment. So maybe Meesun wanted to pay $100 with cash and then the balance with credit card. You could certainly
Matt,
do that.
Can you show us the gift card portion of this?
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot use a gift card or gift certificate in the system unless you have already sold a gift card or gift certificate through the system. That's how the system is aware of it. And one of the really nice things about our gift card and gift certificate system is that there's no third-party interface. And why is that important? Because that means there's nobody charging you for authorization. There's nobody charging you per swipe fees. So none of that nonsense that you go with the credit card company. So for instance, the first thing that you would need to do is actually sell a gift card or gift certificate. And so who it was purchased by, who it was purchased for, either a gift package that you pre-created or put in a dollar amount. So very quickly, I'm going to say that Meesun's just buying it for herself. So and if I'm using a touch screen, I can use these buttons, or I could have typed with my keyboard. But let's just say that she's buying it for herself. And if this information was already pre-filled, I could just hit this and it would move it all over here, just speed. And then say she's going to buy a $100 gift certificate and that it expires on whatever date I want to put in. I could use my calendar or I could type in a date. It's going to expire on 06/01 of 20. And I could say who sold it, how they heard about me, who it was sold by, etc. I'm going to say it was sold by Anna. And I'm also going to say I'm not mailing it because I'm either going to print it out here or I'm going to swipe a gift card that I'm going to hand to them. Or I could mail it, however I want to do it. Because if I'm going to mail and my print is on, it's going to print it out. So let me write this down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 5 is my number. And accept. Nope. Okay, so now I'm selling her a gift certificate as well that's worth $100. So I'm going to go to payment, and let's just say that she pays me, I'm just going to go with cash this time. She gives me $360 and accept. Make $7.92 in change. At this point, because my point of sale register is interfaced with my hardware, it will print out a receipt or email a receipt, or it may have popped open my electronic cash drawer if I've got one. You don't have to have one, but you certainly can. So that's done. Now, I don't have to, but if I were to go back into her information and look at her history, now she's got history. And she also owns a gift certificate as well. I can see all of that. I don't have to, but I can. So not only does she have history, by the way, go ahead.
So where is the history? So where, I know you touched a little bit on the note. So where exactly do you put the note on the patient? Let's just say, this person, Meesun got laser done today. Like where would be the note that you would put it on?
That Meesun has an appointment for a laser?
No, like I say, I got laser done today. I made an appointment and I got a laser done.
Okay, well.
So I want to write about something like that. So where would I put it on then?
Okay, well, here is your history. So this is where you see what they actually got done and on what date they received it. So this is simple history of the transaction itself. Now after that, I mean, I've got my history right in their client file, so I can see everything that they've ever done with me. Then I could have gone to my notes and put in whatever notes I want for whatever date. Yeah. Okay, now Meesun owns a gift certificate. So let's just say that a week has gone by or 2 weeks have gone by or whatever it may be, and she comes back in, and I'm just going to pull up something here. We'll say that she saw Ashley and got a Skinner 90, whatever that is, and we're going to go to payment. Now we can accept a gift card or gift certificate, and I can either swipe the gift card with that number on it, or I can type in the number manually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 5, and enter. Balance on file, $100. So now I can pay for this treatment with the gift card or gift certificate that she bought last week. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if this, by the way, was a lower amount.
It tracks the balance, right?
Absolutely. I was just going to say, if this was a lower amount, $25, my balance is $100 on this gift certificate. So if I accepted that, it would pay for that $25 service. The next time she came in and she gave me that gift card and I swiped it, or she gave me that gift certificate and I typed the number in, it would then say $75 because she had already used $25 of it. And if she said to me, well, wait a minute, this is a $100 gift card that I bought. Why is there only $75 available? I could at any time hit status and swipe that card or put in that number and see everything on it, including when it was used, for how much, etc.
Okay. And then, sorry, just want to make sure, do we have a hard stop at 10, or are we good to go over slightly over?
We can certainly go over a little bit, absolutely.
Okay, I'm okay to do that.
About 10 minutes. It took us about 10 minutes to get into the meeting. I do have a 10:30. So and I usually like to prep for those. So I would say hard stop at 10:20 if you don't mind.
Okay.
Oh, no, not a problem. Not a problem. And we appreciate it.
What kind of training?
Go ahead.
What kind of training comes with the purchase, or ongoing training, or what kind of training is available?
Okay, first things first, as far as training is concerned, training is unlimited. And what that means is that there's no number of questions or emails or telephone calls or direct chats or classes that you can attend that will take you past what you're due. Okay, it's unlimited. As long as you are a customer of ours, we never charge for technical support or training during our regular business hours. Now, how does training work? When somebody becomes a customer and purchases Transcend, whether they get the cloud version of the software or the installed version of the software, the first thing that's done is they are scheduled for what's called setup training. And setup training does not show you how to book appointments or process sales or anything like that. Setup training shows you how to get your staff in the system and how to set up their schedule and how to create groups and services and assign staff to those groups and services. It also shows you how to get your inventory into the system. It also shows you how to get your clients into the system. So essentially, it's data entry. So the very first class is data entry, showing you how to do it. And it's a live class with someone like me, probably with me, and you're taught how to do those things. Once that class is over, then you've got homework to do. You've got to get in all of that information so that your software is set up. Then you can take the next class, and it's totally up to you when you want to take that class. During our regular business hours, you just schedule it with our scheduler. So you schedule it, and then you learn how to book appointments, how to reschedule appointments, how to unbook appointments, how to book standing appointments, and you learn how to process sales through the point of sale. And you also learn how to set up commissions. That's the next class. That's a standard class. Now, during
Hello?
you know, yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you? Okay. There's nothing preventing you from saying, you know what, hey, I've got a class scheduled in 2 days, but I've got a question that I need answered now, and I don't want to wait for that class. Well, that's fine. Either pick up the phone and call the 800 number and go to our training or tech queue, or click on live chat right in your software, and when you do that, you've got this button. Now I want to show you something. This is live. You're watching this on my screen right now. I'm going to hit live chat available. Now I'm not in the same office as these people. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Anthony May has just, we pride ourselves on 15 seconds or less to respond to a customer. Anthony, this is Matt and Meesun and
Meesun, did you already go over costs with Matt?
No,
Sorry,
I have
Matt.
not.
Okay. Thanks, Matt, when you've wrapped up your live chat. I wasn't aware. I think Meesun and I are both curious about the costs.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
When somebody is interested in the software enough to take a demonstration like this, then at the end of the demo, what I do is I ask you some questions about your business, because we need to know how many computers you're going to be running it on, whether or not you want the cloud or the installed version, how many staff members you're going to be tracking in it, how many rooms you're going to have, things like that. Once we get that information, then we email you a written proposal, and it's so that there's no guesswork involved. This is the proposal, and on that proposal, you have the ability to either say, yes, place this order, and then you can place the order right through the proposal that we emailed you, or you can contact someone like me. You can email me or whatever, because you're going to get that email from me, and you might say something like, you know what, we would like to change this, or we'd like to add that, or whatever it may be. Then we adjust the proposal and send it back out to you. Every time you see that, you're going to be looking at it. But so that I'm not just telling you, hey, you're going to get something in writing, let's give you some basics. Let's talk about, okay, so hello everyone, and he left the chat. So either way, I could type in Meesun's email address here and hit send, and the transcript would have been sent to her. So if you wrote a technical question, and
Oh, Matt, you're dropping out. Matt, you're cutting out.
Hello?
I think he
I
just
think
cut
we
out.
lost him. Yeah.
He may just jump back on though.
I'm just going to wait up.
Yeah, maybe he can just email us the questions too. I'd like to arrange.
Hello, Matt?
Matt, we're still here. We can't hear you.
Yeah. It's probably going to jump in. In a couple of minutes. I still kind of like to see more that note, the EHR part of it. I think we went over really a lot with the pricing and inventory. I mean, the...
Yeah, sorry. I think you can go deep, right, in there. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Maybe we can set up a second demo to go more into the EMR part. Sorry I took over, Meesun.
No, it's all right, Belinda. That's all of this is important. I just kind of want to look at really more because the kind of thing I want to look at is more the, for instance, like one of the things I want to look at is, I know what people got done, but I like to know how they responded to it too. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Like, so they came in for their after or post visit and they really had an effect, or someone came in a day or two later than you expected and they're having a problem, or
Exactly, because like one of the things that
Are you able to hear me
when
now?
we look at it is,
we can hear you, Matt.
hello?
Oh, good. I dropped out of the line and then I called back. I don't know why you couldn't hear me. I could hear you guys just fine, but for the last couple of minutes, I haven't been able to hear anything because I got off the telephone and then I dialed back in.
No worries, Matt. We're just talking about you cut out around the time you said, okay, I'm going to, these questions, you're going to give us a range, and then you just
Right,
died.
exactly. Okay, so let's say, for instance, that you have, let's just say there's one of you, it's just one. Okay, then that's 16, up from 1 to 3 is $69 a month. Then you have from 4 to 7, these are the number of people you're tracking in the system, the number of staff. From 4 to 7 is $99 a month. From 8 to 15 is $149 a month. And from 16 to anything, in other words, you've got 150 employees, it doesn't matter, from 16 to more is $199 a month. That's what
I'm sorry, could you, I missed so 1 to 3 it was $69 a month, and 4 to
7
it's how many?
99.
99.
99. Thank you, Meesun. Okay. We
Now,
have a small
if you are
startup office, so we're interested in those early numbers.
Matt, so when you say this, Mom, when you're talking about this, is that including everything, including Darcy, or is there some parts that, we have to purchase more for certain parts?
Everything I showed you is included in that price.
Yeah.
Darcy,
So,
the online store, everything.
for me, the only part that I really have more question for my part is really the actual client parts of it. I want to see really in terms of, let's just bring up a patient. So like, I know the place, for instance, you hit history, it gives you what the patient has got all this done, but really for me, like for instance, the price and those things are really good, but I want to look at, like, for instance, we had a patient who got let's just say, laser done. And I want to note from a doctor, what exactly somebody, whoever was the provider who took care of this patient, a note on this, on the laser treatment, how did it go? So for instance, I'm going to just make it up,
Right. I understand that. And so that
5:30, Joe Schmidt showed up. We had a facial, done, Hollywood pierced down on all her face. No adverse effects I've seen today. Told patient to follow up in 2 days later, And then 2 days later, patient just called and say, hey, I had no problem. Or we call the patient and say, hey, I had no issue whatsoever. And, I could go and put a note saying, 601, call patient to require about, her outcome of her, how do you feel? And patient said she had no problem. She says they're good about it. So when I go somewhere else, I hit it. I could see, there's some sort of chronological kind of places where, so for instance, like, talk about, 531, Hollywood pill.
Well, that would be here in the notes. And it's every note that you put in is going to be date and time stamped. So you could write whatever you want in here. You could say on 5/31/17, I saw this patient for this such and such. And so right, for instance, I wrote this message here, and as you can see, you can type in a lot of information.
So in other words, you have to continuously score back and forth to kind of figure it out. Is that what it is then?
Well, yes, because you can have, this person may have had 30 appointments with you. I mean, yeah, so you do have to scroll through your dates to see what your notes are on that particular date. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'd love to make it more automated for you, and we're here to, we build the software. We always call the software client-driven because every change we've ever made to the software has been because the customer said, we wish this or we wish that. So, I mean, we're always happy to try to work with customers to make things more efficient and more effective for them, but that is currently the way it's set up. And I don't want to lie to you and pretend that it can be done a different way.
Matt, how long has the company been around?
Well, the company has technically been around since the late 80s. 1988 is when the company was founded under the name of Select Computer. In 1993, the company started doing salons, spas, and med spas exclusively. In 1999, it was sold. And in 2005, there was a company called Pro Solutions Software that bought from that other company that had purchased, which was a company called eCard Exchange, which bought it from Select Computer. So for the last 12 years, the company has been owned by Pro Solutions Software, Inc., which happens to be a family company. Pro Solutions Software, Inc. is wholly owned by Brent Wiggins, Stephen Wiggins, and Matthew Wiggins, yours truly. I'm one of the owners.
Oh, you are?
I am, yes.
That's fantastic. You have a radio voice, by the way, Matt.
Well, thank you very much. That's certainly nice to hear.
Okay, so you're part of the family ownership. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I'm not in tech support. I do training and sales, and that's what I do here, along with obviously my staff of trainers and sales people. But Meesun was just lucky enough to get me when she contacted us.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I think you've done a really nice job, by the way. So thank you. And so with this, so you guys have been owned, and how many people are a part of the company?
Well,
FTE,
that really depends.
not outsourced. Yeah, like I bet your tech support might be outsourced,
okay.
but like fully employed. Oh, okay. Full employees.
Tech support is not outsourced. We have 3 offices here in Los Angeles, but all 3 offices are in the same building. And technically, the offices are separated, but we have tech support and training in one building, or in one office, really. And then right next door, you just have to go down the hall and open a door. Right next door to them, we have sales and training as well, because that's where I am, as well as the other sales staff, et cetera, and also front desk reception, et cetera. And then in the 3rd office, right next to that, are the people we don't let see the light of day, and those are our programmers. We keep
Nice.
So it's all here. Now, as far as outsourcing goes, we don't outsource tech support or training or anything like that, so you're always calling the Los Angeles office. However, there are companies that actually sell our product, but they sell it under their own logo and their own name.
Oh, they OEM it. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so then they are responsible for their tech support and training, et cetera. Pro Solutions Software is the maker of Transcend, and that's who you're speaking with.
Maker of
so
Transcend.
Transcend is the software you're looking at.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Transcend.
Yeah, and that's who you're speaking. So you're not dealing with any OEM company or anything like that. By the way, all of those companies are hotel or resort property management system companies. So unless you're part of a hotel or resort, and therefore you're buying their spa package, and therefore you're dealing with them, then if you're a standalone salon, spa, or med spa, you're always dealing with us. If you're part of a hotel or resort, then yes, you may be dealing with an OEM company.
Okay, so the other vertical, hotel and hospitality, they OEM that. Got it. Okay.
Right.
So how many employees do you guys have or consider
The ones that
staff?
you would be most concerned with would be technical support and training, and that would be 12.
Okay. Okay.
And we do offer tech support 24/7, but our free tech support and free training is available during our regular business hours. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are on the East Coast, is that right?
No, we're up in Seattle.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, so Seattle.
No problem.
So then the free technical support and training is available to you from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., so 10 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, you get 5 hours of free tech support and training, and that's from 7 a.m. to noon. And then on Saturdays, you get 4 hours from 7 a.m. to 11. We cover the mornings, even though we're based in Los Angeles, we cover the mornings like that because we've got a lot of East Coast customers as well. And so a lot of companies that are based on the West Coast don't open till noon, so we open at 10 a.m. for them. But of course, that's available to you as well. So 10 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, 5 hours on Friday, and 4 hours on Saturday, and you'll never be charged for tech support or training. Now, if you called us at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday night, 2 a.m. Pacific time, then yes, you will actually be able to speak to a human being. However, you will be charged for that. We do charge $100 an hour for after-hours support. However, it is based on a 15-minute increment, so it's basically $25 every 15 minutes. But there's no reason to use after-hours support. We get very, very little after-hours support because not only can you send an email and then have that responded to the following day, we also have a Facebook page that you can communicate with, and you can even, by joining our Facebook page, communicate with some of our other customers as well. But you're also able to just simply wait for the following morning and make sure that you get your tech supporter training for free. Now, on top of that, let's just very briefly here go to our website. So I'm going to go to the Pro Solutions Software website here, and I want to go to support. So you can go here to tech support. So if you're not at the software but you still want to use the live chat, you can do that here, billing and sales. But this is what I want to show you, training videos. So I'm going to click on that, and we've got recorded classes. Now these are the live classes that we teach every single week. We do a beginner's class, we do the online store class.
Great.
We do
and those are
Darcy
recorded.
Class. These are recorded, so you can watch them at any time, but you can
Great.
also sign up for the live classes so that you can have your questions answered. Then we have our setup classes. Now, these are also live classes, but you can watch videos of pre-recorded live classes. Then we have how to set up Darcy and the web store, so how to book appointments. All of this is here on our website. You can also sign up for live classes. Simply by clicking the sign up button, you fill in your client information here, and then you can, for instance, Darcy Marketing on June 6th, Online Booking and Retail on June 6th, the Advanced class, etc. All of these types of things, the Beginner's class, these are going to be classes that you can sign up for. They're live. They're done the same way we're doing here through GoToMeeting, but you may have 20 people in the class. It may just be you. It's always a crapshoot. I never have any idea how many people are going to be in a class that I teach or that one of the other trainers teach until I get to it, because when you sign up for the class, the day before the class, you are sent an email with a link and a conference call telephone number. So 5 minutes or so before the class, you click on the link, you get in, you call the conference call telephone number. When people start getting into the class, that's when I see how many attendees I have that day. And then we start doing our class. So that's something that I wanted you to be aware of, is that those videos are available to you 24/7 because they're right there on our website. So you can just jump to them without having to necessarily go to a live class, but you can sign up for those live classes at any time. Now, let's say that you had a number of questions and you say, you know what, I'm gonna end up taking at least 30 minutes of a trainer's time. And so I need to book that out. But I don't want to wait for a live class, and it's not being answered for me on the video. No problem. You call our 800 number. You go to extension 101. Her name is Jesslyn. She handles the calendar for training. Again, technical support and training is free during regular business hours. So something like that where you say, hey, I've got very specific questions, but I've got a number of them, and I need to get them addressed. That's the kind of thing that you would just call Jesslyn. She would schedule it with someone like me, and you can request me. You can say, I want Matt to do the training, and she will book as long as I'm available at your convenience, and then we'll do it just like this. So training and technical support is always at your availability, and I think that you'll find that it's extremely comprehensive. But because of that, we also say that from the time you buy the software to the time that you are actually using it to run your business, we say give yourself at least 2 to 3 weeks, because you got to get your data entry in, you got to get your training done, and then you're going to play with it. And after you've played with it and you're familiar with booking appointments and processing sales and printing out the reports you need, then you can have our tech staff wipe out what you've done so that you can start from scratch. And I don't mean all your data entry. I mean your play transactions and play emails and things like that. Get rid of those so that you can start from scratch, and now you're doing business.
Matt, do you, since you're so familiar with the system, do you have a more recommended version, the cloud version or the downloaded version?
Okay, that's something I wanted to talk to you about regarding pricing. Now, the cloud version and the installed version have identical pricing for a single computer. However, And with the cloud, you can access from anywhere in the world. So when you hear the word single computer, sometimes people get confused. But with the cloud version, a single computer means a single login. So if you're logged in at the office and you're doing business there at the med spa, great. And then you turn out the lights, you close your drawer, you go home. You can log in from home. You're not logged in anymore at the office, you're logged in from home. So that's still a single computer. You're on vacation and you log in, single computer. So same price as the installed version for a single computer. However, if you said, no, we've got 4 computers and all 4 of them need to be able to access the computer simultaneously. If you are using the installed version, you buy what are called workstation licenses, and those computers are all on the same network. Those workstation licenses are $199 each. They are a one-time fee. There is no monthly charge for a workstation license. If you are in the cloud, then the first 2 additional computers outside of the original are $20 a month. However, every additional computer after that is $9 a month. So if you said we've got 3 computers, then and you were getting a $99 version, that would cost you $138.
Can I just, because I get where you're going, I think I just have other taxonomy wired into my brain. I get the login. So if we talk cloud version 1 to 3 logins, how much is it?
Okay, that's not 1 to 3 logins. That's the number of people that you're tracking in the software. So if you would get that for $69 a month on a single
cloud
computer,
version.
For
Cloud
version. Cloud version, and with 1 login, but you can track up to 3 people in the system. So you can book appointments for 3 staff members. You could process sales for 3 staff members. You could do notes for 3 staff members. Everything for up to 3 staff members. That's $69 a month, no matter where you're logged in from.
Oh, it's only up to 3 staff members. I can only manage 3 providers.
That's exactly. That's
okay,
what a 1 to 3 is.
And it's $69 a month.
That's right. And then 4 to 7 providers, not logins, but 4 to 7 providers is $99 a month.
Providers. Okay, now I understand. Okay, and then so now we're talking, that covers I think what we would need in terms of cloud. So if we have the installed version, what's that version of pricing?
It would still be $99 a month for a 4 to 7, $69 a month for a 1 to 3. They're the same. The question then becomes whether or not your monthly subscription is going to increase on the cloud because you have additional computers that you need accessing the software simultaneously. Doesn't matter where they're located.
So logins, right? But you're talking logins. Yeah.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I think 1 login would suffice for us.
Then there would be no price difference between the installed version and the cloud. Now, another benefit to the cloud that the installed version doesn't have. The installed version does have the online store. And the online store allows your customers and your staff to book their own appointments through your website, purchase products through your website, and purchase gift certificates through your website. That's in the installed version. And the cloud version has that too. However, the cloud version also allows you, now this is an additional fee. The store is not an additional fee, whether you're in the cloud or the installed version. This is part of your software. All of those things I just described to you. However, what I'm about to tell you is an additional fee, but it only applies to the cloud. And that is the staff and the client apps that you can download from the Apple App Store or Google Play. And those apps allow your clients to change their client information like their name, address, telephone number, etc., purchase gift certificates, purchase products, book their own appointments online. Many of the same things that they can do through the online store, but they can do a lot more through the app. And your staff also has things that they can do directly through the app as well, including direct communication with the spa. So there is what's called push notification.
Can we just add that on later?
At any time, and you don't need
Okay, got it. And I want to be cognizant of your time. It's 10:23, Matt. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, let us make sure we're respectful of your time.
Would you guys like me to email you out a proposal?
Yeah, would you? That would be helpful.
What's the email address?
And I would say you can go ahead and use Meesun's, and she can share it with me.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
I've got her email address, so I'll do that.
Perfect.
So I'm also going to email her a copy of this class that we just did.
Love it.
So, so that needs to be converted, so it'll probably take about 2 hours before you guys actually have it. But you'll get the proposal first, and then you'll get the emailed version of this class on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll send them both to Meesun. And thank you so much for your time. And
yeah, that
I
was
look forward
fantastic.
To hearing from you guys in the future.
Thank you. You did a nice demo. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank
Belinda. Have
you.
a great
Thank
day,
you.
both of you. Bye-bye, Meesun.
Bye.
Bye-bye.